I think toxic masculinity, we're all to blame for it in many ways because the women have enabled these social structures and continue to perpetuate them. So I'm going to just put myself out there as somebody who's sympathetic to both genders. Now, you've lived them both, you've lived that life. So what have you seen in terms of, what you would call out as discrimination on either side, or maybe even perks?
But one thing that was quite true was, even though I spent my whole life identifying with women, paying attention, feeling empathetic, as a manager, I had women on my team who would say, "You're the best male manager I've had." Once I was living in the shoes, I realized I still didn't get it. The dynamic in the workplace, I'd heard, I'd seen where, the issues of women being interrupted or stepped on, or mansplaining. A woman says the idea in the room, then a man takes it. Women being underestimated. I understood these things intellectually, and then I experienced them. I went from generally, if I met someone new, they would assume I was probably a very senior manager after engaging. And the question might be, "Oh, so are you a vice president?" It's like, "No, I'm a director." "Oh, okay." To living as a woman, I would get underestimated.
Right.
I had cases where, "Oh, so are you the HR representative? Are you the teacher?"
Marketing?
No, I'm the leader of the organization.
I'm the head honcho, bitches.
The narrower band of behavior. All these things were like, whoa, this is crazy. And one thing I realized is because I lived on the other side, for me it was far less tolerable. So I would talk to women who were peers, and they'd be like, "Well, we're making progress. It's better than it was." And I'd be like, "No, this isn't even close to acceptable. This is not what my experience has been. You're being treated in a far different way than but that's their normal." And for me, it was like this glaring difference in treatment. I've dealt with being picked up in a bar and having men put their hands on me without being invited to, and all these types of things that before were concepts that once you experience, it's like, oh, I used to think about, like, well, it would seem like it'd be kind of nice if a man had noticed you, and then you experience it and you feel like, oh, I get it now. It's not that I'm not being noticed for being me. I'm being noticed for
piece of ass.
Yeah. One of my messages to men that I work with is, you just need to accept that you do not get it. I always identified it that way. I empathized heavily. I studied this, and I didn't get it. So there's no chance you're going to get it. So just accept that.
So as I'm hearing you speak, there are two things that come to mind. One is yes, it is so normal. We, especially with Me Too, I remember when Me Too came up, I was like, oh yeah, like Me Too into like 20, right? There's so many small things, even as a child. But for the most part, until Me Too, I was not putting my hand up and saying any of this stuff.
It was your normal.
It still is. It still absolutely is my normal. And I'm one of the outspoken ones. So you can imagine. So what do we do about it? Because I think there are genuinely men like you were who want to get it and believe they get it.
Yes.
But can we take them a step further? What would that look like?
Yeah. Two thoughts on this. One is, I think there's a growing fear among men. As a man, I would hear this among my peers about, I don't know what to do, so
I'm just not going to do anything.
Gail was paralyzed.
Which is also fair. But
I think that my thought there is, it's okay to ask, like, hey, I'm unsure about what to do here. Or if you're in a meeting and you're not sure what to say, hey, I'm not exactly sure what to say here. Here's what I'm feeling. I think having this open dialogue would be the big win, because I don't think, as best I can tell, people get offended when someone admits, I don't even know how to deal with this. Like, as someone who's transgender, when someone says, I'm not sure like when I was in transition, how do I address you? I'm uncertain. Why aren't we more comfortable just saying that? Like, I haven't been in your shoes.
Yeah.
So as a woman from India, help me understand a little more
Yeah,
what
I
that's
agree.
like.
And I think that the whole concept of political correctness, I think that's kind of set us back a little bit, because people are afraid to say, okay, I don't know what the right term is. Oh, I'm not going to say anything because I might not use the right words.
Right.
When I moved here to college, our international student counselor at Smith, we had like a pre-orientation before they introduced us to the Americans to just kind of like literally acclimate us.
Oh, interesting.
And the one thing they said was, political correctness, throw it out the door, because you people know how to have conversations. I can sit there with my Nigerian friends and be like, what's your language called? Or like, and just really get into it. If the intent is genuine care and concern, it will show through,
right,
regardless.
And I think that goes to my second thought is, I genuinely believe, quite frequently, majority, maybe most of the time, and I'm an optimist, good intent. There's like, when things are done that are wrong, there's a lack of awareness that it's wrong.
I wouldn't give you most of the time. I would go with I would go with a 50-50.
That's fine.
Maybe, yeah. We can live with that.
But if we start out by assuming that perhaps, instead of like just raising the volume and being more strive without giving someone a chance.